Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Bunk and Pick podcast. I'm Bunkin. We got no pick. He is out on the injured reserve today. But in his place, we got the medium G. We got the big G man, Big Gary.
That's right. I'm all you need. We don't need
That's all
pick,
we need.
I'm all you need.
We don't need him. He can't talk anyway. I called him today, and he...
That's how I sounded like whenever Big G was in town. Like a month ago, I couldn't talk either.
I know. It's
everybody's getting hit with that. It's like a sinus infection or something.
Is it? I mean, his is like way past when his rest of his family got it, though. I was surprised. He's kind of a late bloomer on that one.
Yeah,
but he's out. But we continue on. And
I don't think I told you. When I had it, my left eye completely swelled shut for like a day and a half.
Oh my God!
2 days.
Were you like a pirate? Looking like a pirate?
I literally couldn't open my eye. Yeah. I actually woke up and I was like, what the hell is going on?
That's awesome. Remember Foldy Eye? I used to get the Foldy Eye when I had the...
I kept thinking to myself, Foldy Eye.
Foldy Eye would have... What was that? The poison ivy in my eyes. My eyes would freaking go Foldy Eye.
It looked just like that, just huge. And it was gross.
That's awesome. Me likes it. All right, so I do have a couple things I'm going to talk about before we get rolling. So as a former professional baseball player, I think there's a lot of stories out there about baseball player. It seems baseball has the most characters in it throughout history. What do you think?
Absolutely. The teams are bigger, and well, maybe football is even bigger. I don't know why that is, but it is true.
It is
true. You know what I think it is? I think baseball is full of just the everyman more than other sports.
I think so. And so I was going to go, there's a couple players, I've started collecting those T206 cards for players that played in the late 1800s, early 19s. And of course, we all know they didn't have contracts like they do today. So, they all had second jobs and did other things. But there's some characters out there. I'm just going to go through a couple. There was a lad named Ed Abaticchio. He was the first Italian player in the major leagues. They called him Batty. Ed Batty.
What year? Let me guess a year.
Okay.
I'm going to guess. I bet it's a little later than you would think. I'm going to say like 50. No, I'm going to say 48.
Oh, no. We're talking 1905.
Oh, way back. Okay.
1905.
I thought like it would be way later.
No. Actually, he started. So this guy started. He actually started in 1897. He was with the Philadelphia Phillies. Then he was with the Boston Bean Eaters. And then the Pittsburgh Pirates. So out of those, the Pirates are the Phillies. Well, the Phillies kept their name, right? I
didn't know the Phillies were around in the 1800s.
They were.
That's a surprise to me.
And it's kind of amazing. The baseball history is pretty amazing. So,
and they were called the Phillies?
They were called the Phillies.
Huh. Okay.
And the Pirates were called the Pirates.
I knew that. I knew they were one of the originals. I did not think the Phillies were around that long.
Yeah. I know that's like the creation of 1897's. They did have teams before that. But in 1908, he was like a good fielder and a mediocre hitter. In 1908, his fielding percentage was .969, which was first in the league. And his best year offensively was with Boston in 1905 when he hit .279 with 30 stolen bases, 170 hits, and 610 bats. And that was a dead ball era.
Do you know how many games they played that year?
I don't. I'm kind of thinking they did play that many games, though, didn't they?
I don't think it was 160. I think it was like 140 something. But they still played a ton of games. You know what's surprising? Those stats, you could read those same stats today.
You could. Absolutely. Could.
And that would be a good player today.
The biggest difference from these guys, it was a dead ball era. So like 20 home runs was like, like phenomenal. Nobody hit 20 home runs. But he was a speedy little guy. He had 20 stolen bases 3 times, and they had 30 stolen bases twice. So here's where I love these guys, right? So in 1906, he said, you know what, man, I'm going to leave baseball for a year. I'm going to go open a hotel. He leaves to go open a hotel. And then he gets convinced to come back into the game, and then he later appeared in the 1909 World Series, which is, kind of baseball. Just it was. I mean, they played it, but it just for a lot of these guys, it wasn't the thing.
Well, at that time, you really couldn't make a living for a family.
No.
You could be a single guy like partying around the country, no problem. But really, you couldn't like put your hooks down and start a family and be like, I am a baseball player, and that's it.
No, they paid him crap. That's why the Black Sox guys, they threw their game because they weren't making any money. But interesting enough on this guy, in 1895, before he started playing baseball, he was one of the first professional football players. And he is known to have been the first one to develop the spiral punt. Now think about that. How crazy is that
shit?
There
was professional football in
1895. It's crazy.
That's
when
blowing
you start
my
doing...
mind. I thought football was way after baseball.
I kind of did too, but it's kind of funny when you start looking at these guys. There's a bunch here, and they're just, it's fun to go through them because they're so. Just the history of the game is amazing, and then even the guys that made the Hall of Fame back then, they're kind of, I don't know if say funny, but I mean, their stats. It's mostly longevity in a lot of them, outside of like Honus Wagner and some of those guys.
Yeah.
The only other guys, the other guy, so he was kind of what they call an uncommon. He was a good player, no Hall of Fame guy. And then you got like a whole section of like the bad boys. And one of my favorites is a guy called Bugs Raymond. And he was a pitcher. He played for the Detroit Tigers in 1904. The Cardinals in 1907 and 8, and then the New York Giants in 1909 and 11. And John McGraw was, he probably knew him as a manager, but he was also a player as well back then. He said that big old Arthur Bugs Raymond was the best pitcher he ever tried to manage. Considered one of the best spitball pitchers of the era, he was also one of the game's biggest boozers.
Of course, he has to be.
His teammate Rube Marquard said that Bugs didn't spit on the ball; he just breathed on it, and it came in drunk.
Holy shit!
His best season was 1909. He went 18-12 with a 2.47 ERA, just like a normal thing. And then he quit the Giants with 6 weeks left in the season to go 10 bar. So 6 weeks left. He said, "Shit on, I'm going to 10 bar," and evidently, the more this guy drank, the better he pitched. So they were kind of encouraged him. McGraw tried to help him beat his addiction. He sent him away to a program. He eventually kicked him off the team after he left the Giants bullpen during a game to go to a local bar. So he said, "Shit on it, I'm going to the friggin' bar."
It's not even that simple. Like, I know this man. I've played baseball with this guy, like 200 of them.
Really?
It's just full of people. I have stories when I play. This is super recent. I mean, not super. I mean, in terms of what we're talking about, like 1905 is less than 10 years ago or 10 years ago. They were getting done playing and then working at like the grocery store in town at the rotisserie chicken section, or like it was nuts.
That's crazy.
They're making a lot more money, but I think that and drinking is huge in baseball. It still is. It always will be. It's just kind of tied to the sport. So all these stories, I feel like I've heard these, and you're just telling me a different name.
I know.
You can even go to like Pete Rose and those guys. If you hear their stories in the locker room, they were insane. They were doing whatever the hell they wanted.
I know. Well, the old games, right? You could watch them, after the game when they'd be in the clubhouse smoking cigarettes, drinking beer, and they didn't. And even, but if you're talking even the 70s, 60s, 50s, I mean, even then, a lot of those guys, Mickey Mantle and those guys, they all had other jobs in the summer. I mean, or when baseball was over, not the summer, but when baseball was over, they either owned a little business if they were successful, or they went and worked somewhere, because baseball wasn't, still wasn't that lucrative back then.
Yep.
So,
God, that's crazy.
Yeah, cool stuff. I love the stories and I love the history of the game.
Baseball has the best like old crazy stories like that of these dudes doing wild things. Greg used to listen to a podcast all the time and tell me about all the stories he would hear about these random, just like you're telling me now, these random baseball guys that go and do crazy stuff, but somehow they're still competing on the field every night, and then
Yeah,
they go off to wherever they go off of. It's really wild.
it is. It's pretty crazy. So there's a little history. You got anything to before we get rolling?
Well, I do. I got a 10 question questionnaire for you
Oh,
because I
okay.
feel like Pick, we know a lot about Pick. He's got a lot of opinions, he's loud. We all know Pick. But Bunk, we don't really know you.
Oh, God.
So I wanted to
Okay,
get it
okay.
out there. So
All
I got
right.
this is half trivia, half just sort of questionnaire into your life. I don't want you to think too hard on these questions, but it should be a good time. So number one, who is your favorite athlete of all time, any sport?
Oh man, I'll tell you. I probably
And
got.
if you need me to pass, I can pass, and we'll come
No,
back
no,
to the
no, no.
question.
I'll tell you. I probably got to. I was a huge Joe Namath fan growing up. Um,
He's a good one.
I would say, he hasn't aged well with the way he acts now,
Yeah,
but
for sure. Yeah.
but I think growing up he was my guy. I loved Joe Namath. I loved his lifestyle, and I was a Jets fan, so I think he would be the number one guy on there. Surprisingly, it wasn't a baseball guy. I maybe surprised you because I'm a big baseball fan.
That doesn't surprise me. I
but
mean, he's a huge, especially for people kind of in your age group.
yeah,
He was the king of football
he was
and
the man.
sports.
Yeah, I will
Yeah.
say that just to give you a quick number two was Dr. J in
Whoa,
basketball.
that really surprises me.
Loved Dr. J.
You never talk about basketball.
I don't, but I used to watch it a lot when those guys played, and him and Namath were my guys.
That's awesome. Yeah, that second one surprised me. All right, question number two. Top three athletes that you would just want to hang out with.
Oh man, let's see. I'd have to go with.
You could say Namath again.
Back in the day, I would hang out. I don't particularly care for him anymore.
Hang out now, yeah.
Hang out now. Aaron Judge, because I'm a big Judgy guy.
Okay. He's very respectful. He'd be a nice, easy time hanging out with him.
I think he'd be a lot of fun. And let's see. Jeez, I'm not current on the basketball guys, to be honest with you. Football players. I like Justin Herbert. Can't see that he would be like tremendously fun to hang out with, to be honest with you.
Sure. Yeah, he'd be like studying game film while you guys are hanging out.
I think it would be like George Brett. I'd love to hear his stories.
Oh God, he would be fantastic.
He's just a fantastic.
Get a 12-pack next to him and just listen to him all night.
Oh my God, he would just be awesome. I mean, the older baseball player guys, I think would be appealing to me because I love listening to the old stories.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same. Okay, I'll count that as three. Who is the worst athlete you've ever seen, and you can't believe they just had a professional career and they made it?
Oh God. Wow. Like made it like to the professional level?
Not just made it, but like they were on your TV a bunch and you're like, how the hell is this guy even playing?
Well, that's a tough one.
We can pass it. You think about it?
Yeah, let me think about that one.
Okay. Now we're going to get into a different subject here. Okay. Who would you like to play you in a movie?
Oh, man.
Danny DeVito?
Okay, that's I do like that. You know what? That was actually
he is super funny.
I do like.
He's way too short.
Danny DeVito would be good. He can actually do it. Yeah. He can actually do it pretty good, I think. And now, if I was saying who's going to do it, I'd have to go with my boy Matty McConaughey. I mean, come on. But
my God, same personality.
It is. But you know what? I'm gonna say I would go with Danny DeVito would actually do me really good.
The comedy and stuff would fit. It was just visually, it's not the same at all.
Well, Jesus, McConaughey ain't either, so it's okay.
He's a little closer.
DeVito's closer than McConaughey is.
Okay. All right. Since Nick's not here, we can kind of pick on him a little bit. Who would you like to play Pick in a movie?
Oh my God. Let's see. Someone who's loud. Who's really loud out there?
Loud, goofy.
Loud, goofy, fun. Man, who's out there? God,
when I wrote this question, I was thinking, because I had answers in my mind. I couldn't think of anybody good for him.
I'm trying to who kind of would stick out. I don't know. I can't come up with one right now. I know the type. I mean, if we searched around, we could probably find the guy.
Who was the kid in Superbad?
Oh,
He was the bigger guy, and he's not so big now, but he's super loud and funny. Maybe him. I forget his name. I'll look it up real
I know
quick.
what you mean. Yeah. Okay. I can't remember his
He'd be a
name.
good option because Nick is super silly, but oh my god, he's so loud.
He's like Foghorn.
Jonah Hill.
Jonah Hill. There you go. There you go.
I could hear him like outside of your house when he's there. Like he's just inside of the kitchen.
Jonah Hill would be a good one.
Yeah. Okay. Jonah Hill. Wow, that was my mic. Just fell. Okay. Do we want to go back to the worst athlete, or do you want me to continue on?
No, continue on. Let me keep thinking on that one.
What is your favorite movie of all time? If you haven't figured out, we got some movie questions coming.
Favorite movie?
Or just like my answer to this is always The Mummy. I'm not going to fight and say
The Mummy?
My favorite, The Mummy, but I've seen it maybe 400 times because it's on TV nonstop.
God. You know, I will say my favorite, it's hard to say favorite because I like a lot of movies, but I really like the Rocky movies. The first ones.
Oh, they're good. The first 2 to 3 are great.
Yeah. Yeah. After that, I didn't like them, but they were very inspirational and back in the day, he was the man when he put movies out. So I'm going to say Rocky.
You know, the older I get, the more that I can see that Stallone he's a good actor.
He is a good actor.
Those movies are really good. Like he has a very thin like role that he can play, but when he's in there doing boxing like Rocky, he's incredible.
Oh, I'm just telling you, man, he did those Rocky movies and he came out with like some where he was like a cop and stuff. He was killing it back then. And you know, when you're young and you're looking up, his body was just friggin' chiseled and the way he did
what was
stuff.
That, like late 70s, early 80s, maybe?
It was
When did Rocky come out? Was that 80s?
I think Rocky was maybe late 70s. Then he did some other movies that were, the movies went on and on, but actually Rocky was 76.
76, wow.
And I was like right in high school at that time. So that was a good movie, man. I like that one.
They're so rewatchable. Even today, I watch them probably, I don't know, once or twice a year. That one and the second one, I don't really go beyond that. Who was the guy he was boxing all the time?
Apollo Creed.
The first Apollo Creed. What a character.
Yep.
Great movie.
It was great.
All right. Who had the best mustache in TV?
Oh my God. Are you kidding? You're joking, right? Magnum PI. Holy shit.
I have my answer.
Who's yours?
Who? Burt Reynolds, baby.
Oh, no, you got to get Magnum PI.
No, I knew you would go with Magnum.
Tom Selleck.
I mean, his was way thicker.
Oh, Tom Selleck was forget a bush in there, man. He was my man. I love that show.
All right, we got a few more. What is your dream car?
Dream car, Porsche 911.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I thought you would go with like a muscle car. I didn't know you would pick Porsche. I thought you'd go with like
Chevelle. Well, okay. So I say Porsche 911 and the Chevelle Super Sport 1970.
There you go. That's specific. I like that.
Yeah.
All right. Now we got we need to answer this worst athlete question if we can.
Oh God. There's
anybody who's been sucking on the Yankees that you just hate recently? Just name someone.
I mean, like some of those guys. Oh God, Javi. Oh my God.
He might be.
He could be, but he could be right up there with him. He was bad, man. I mean, some of the you and I talk all the time about it's like how's this? Once they get in, it seems like they just don't go away. These guys, some of the guys, and you know we've had like in the outfield, we've had Bader and and Verdugo too. I'm sorry, man. He had a little glimpse there at the beginning, but he's very light hitting.
And
but
he's still there.
He's not going anywhere. He keeps signing. Somebody will sign him. It's amazing to me. There's got to be a young dude out there that's better than him. You just have to think there is. So I go with those guys right now. I think there's probably more. I mean, I'm going to tell you, like in football, Zach Wilson. How in the hell was he a first round pick? Right. I don't know what the evaluator saw in him. He is horrific, man. He's really bad.
Yeah. What is that? Was that? I know we're not getting into sports. Was that a byproduct of him getting just kind of thrown in there and kind of scared, or is it just you just don't think he's good enough? Like any amount of training, sitting back up, he's not.
I don't think he's good enough because I watched the they were on the HBO thing where they go preseason or whatever and follow the teams when Aaron Rodgers got there, and the amount of stuff he just didn't know as a friggin' professional football player is, good God, you were a first round pick. Holy shit.
And that's the crazy part is you figure these teams have given him the stupid tests and had talked to him and realized he doesn't know anything. We're going to still take him in the first round.
He doesn't know anything. And I don't know what they ever saw in him, but you can go back on a lot of first round guys that aren't around anymore. Right. Horrible picks, but he's still hanging. So he's right up there with him. He is, to me, he's not a very good athlete. Not NFL caliber. Let me say that.
Okay, I think that counts. All right, now we're into our quiz portion. There's 3 questions. Let's see how well you do. Number 1, can you name the original trilogy Lord of the Rings movies in order?
God, you're messing with me.
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings, number 1. Wasn't that called that?
No, that has a name. It has a name.
Oh my God. Return of the King.
No.
Revenge of the friggin' Magua. Revenge of the Hobbit. I don't know.
So the first one is an F. It starts with F.
Okay, so it's Lord of the Rings, Frodo's thing. I don't know.
Frodo's. All right, I'm going to give you the first one.
Okay, give me the first one.
The Fellowship of the Ring.
Fellowship of the Ring. Okay.
Okay. And God, you actually named the third one in Return of the King.
Return of the Kings, baby. King.
And then now you need the second one. And it has to, this is your favorite one where they have the tree people in it.
Oh, God, I love the trees. Shit, you know what? I enjoy those movies, but I don't know. I just don't know.
That's why I asked you this. I knew there was no possible way.
I have no idea. What is it?
The Two Towers. The Two Towers.
The Two Towers. I don't know. I don't know any of
Frodo's thing.
Frodo Baggins. I know him.
All right. Now, you need a little pen with you or something to write something down for a second. If you need it, you might not need it.
All right.
I'm going to name 5 late 60s to 70s movies. And you're going to tell me the order from oldest to newest.
All right. Hold on. All right. Give it to me.
Chips.
Wait, TV shows?
Or shows. Yeah, or shows.
Okay.
Or actually, they're all shows. They're all shows.
Okay.
Hawaii Five-0.
Okay.
MASH.
Ooh. Okay.
Love Boat.
Oh, watch it.
And the $6 Million Man.
Ooh. Okay.
Take your time. Tell us what you're thinking. Think out loud.
I'm going to tell you the oldest one is Hawaii Five-0.
That's correct. That was 1968.
The second oldest, I'm going to go.
Before you answer.
Yeah.
I would just to make it clear, they're all different years. There's not like the same year in a couple months. They're significantly different.
Yep. I'm going to go MASH.
That's correct. 1972.
Kids in there. I'm going to go after that. I'm going to go $6 Million Man.
That's correct. 1973.
Okay.
Right, the last 2, Chips and Love Boat.
Wow, and Love Boat was my favorite.
These are the 2 closest in time period.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Ponch and John and Captain Stubing. Let's see, Ponch and John and Captain Stubing. I'm gonna go. Shit, Love Boat was my show, but it was late. I'm going Chips. Chips was the next one. Huh?
Where were you? Wait, which one? Where were you watching Love Boat? You can't put yourself back in that time?
Yeah, high school.
High school?
I watched it every Friday before I went out.
These might have both probably been in high school for you then.
They probably were both in high school. I'm going to say Love Boat was on a long time. I'm still going to say Chips was the next one.
It's incorrect.
Oh, shit.
Love Boat started in 1976, Chips in 77.
Okay. I was close,
though.
I was
Pretty
close.
Good.
I was close. I watched my TV,
surprised me. I thought, for some reason, you'd get mixed up on MASH. I thought, in $6 Million Man, I thought you wouldn't be able to place $6 Million Man.
No, I remember the $6 Million. MASH was on so long. It was
I
just
know.
a crazy
It's
long
hard
show.
yeah, it's hard to tell when it started.
I actually watched that in college on a little black and white TV in my dorm. That's how long that shit was on. But
That's a show that
told.
within the past year, I'm like, maybe I'm old enough to give it a shot. Let me watch an episode. I still have not watched a single episode of any of these shows.
You know what? You gotta watch. You gotta watch MASH. It's actually really good, and it doesn't.
I've heard it's really good.
It doesn't lose anything. The $6 Million Man is just fun to watch.
What is the story of this? He just has $6 million.
No,
I don't know. I thought
he was in a Steve Austin was in an accident, and they rebuilt him. Like he's got a bionic arm and legs and shit.
$6 million
He cost $6 million. Funny story for you. When we lived in Cocoa Beach, there was a doctor that lived next to us, and if he's the same guy that they kind of named the doctor on the show after.
No way. Like he was who they portrayed.
I think I don't know if they used him as a reference or how they did. And Chips is a typical 70s, thing. And Love Boat, you got to actually really like the Love Boat. But I love the Love Boat. That was one of my favorite shows.
Are you still watching your Captain Odyssey? You haven't talked about it in like a month.
I haven't seen it since then. I don't know if I've seen all the episodes. I don't know. It hasn't popped up on my list. Let me just say that. I need to go back and see.
That's perfect because now maybe it just got canceled. The show just got
canceled. It didn't get canceled. It got really good ratings.
The last time I heard of it was at the darts thing like several months ago when I was in the Smoky Darts back alley.
Yeah, I think I might have missed like maybe the last episode of the season or something. I watched most of them though. Good point. I'll have to go back and check that out. I like it. Now I'm going to check some of these old ones out too. I like all those. Hawaii 5-0 was
what's happening to me. I'm getting. Oh, actually, your camera. By the way, I feel like we're just having a conversation. This isn't a sports podcast right now, but I'm getting your camera CL8, and we're getting it really nice.
Good
for the listeners out there. It's my dad's camera. He said it was one of the first he bought. He let me borrow it, and getting it picked up. Got a new lens for it. I think I get it back next week.
Nice. It'll be fun. You'll have fun with it. Going old school. So you're going old school on me.
The final question of the quiz.
Tell me.
Name me 3 Steve McQueen movies.
Oh, The Escape.
Yes. He's done so many.
He has. Gosh, dang it. Let's see. My problem is on the names. Let's see. What was the one where he's in prison eating eggs? I don't know. Son of a bitch.
Wait, what was the first you said? The
Escape. The Great Escape, yeah. Sand Pebbles?
Come on,
Sand Pebbles? The Sand Pebbles?
Sand Pebbles?
Yeah.
Sand Pebbles?
Sand Pebbles. Yes, sir.
It's not on the list. Oh, it is on the list.
I'm telling you it's on.
1966. Yes.
Oh, wait. The most famous Bullet.
Yes. Which one?
Bullet,
yes. And I was going to say, actually, the most famous to me is The Blob.
And The Blob, yes. But Bullet is the one that made that car famous. That made the Mustang famous.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't a lot.
Steve McQueen. I was looking up pictures of these guys because I listened to like some film stuff, and they were the coolest motherfuckers in the world.
They were.
Burt Reynolds. All those guys were just kings of the United States. It was crazy.
It was, and they all hung. The thing about the old guys back in those days, they all kind of knew each other and did stuff like Steve McQueen. He actually raced cars, like really raced cars outside of acting. And there was a lot of those guys, they all knew each other, kind of hung out together. Even if you go in the 40s and 50s, they all mention each other and make fun of each other. You just don't see that anymore with the guys, most of the people today, let me say. So, yep.
Now that we're talking about movies, I stumbled upon Marlon Brando. And I've always known Marlon Brando as he was the Godfather guy. And I never really knew he was like a significant actor before then at all. And my God, that man was like a superstar.
Oh my God.
And by the time The Godfather came out, he was he was like going to movie studios and being like, you're going to give me this or else I'm not in it. Like, I didn't know he was that big.
Oh, he was like huge on the waterfront. Then he did Apocalypse Now. And he did a lot of, when he was younger, he was by far the biggest actor. And he knew it. When he got older, he kind of used his influence. But he was huge, man.
All right, that was my questionnaire / trivia.
I like it. So let's let's check in on some sports news, and we have to say the one piece of news is in a sport I don't actually watch a whole lot of anymore in the NBA.
The Luka trade.
The Luka trade. What do you think of that? Is that some crazy shit?
So I saw the trade. I see he's going to the Lakers. You know, they're like the Dodgers of the NBA. So it's like, okay, they paid a bunch. I have not like clicked and read an article. What is so crazy about it? I don't know.
Well, okay, so Luka's like, I mean, arguably one of the top 3 players in the NBA.
Yeah, sure.
And Anthony, you know, Davis, AD, he's 30. So Luka's 25, Davis 31. And
so it was a 1-for-1 trade.
I mean, there were some other guys sprinkled in on both sides, but I mean, mostly that's what it was. And then they've kind of come out and Dallas has kind of done him a little dirty, coming out saying, number one, he's been hurt, you know, off and on. They're saying that he doesn't take his conditioning well. He doesn't take care of his body, and
that's really a bad look. He's carried the Mavs.
He has been there. That's 5 years he's been their face.
Petty move right there.
And then they're saying what I think has happened is he was due a max contract at the end of this year, which is like 350 million. And once he changes teams, he can't get a max contract. Come on, these guys are already, he can get a 200 and something from the Lakers, I guess. But it seems like they didn't want to pay him because they didn't think he was going to be, you know, he doesn't take care of his body and stuff. And that is just a shit thing to say on the guy who literally carried that team for 5 years.
Yeah, he was the whole team.
He was literally the team.
Those playoff games, it was literally just him.
It was. And so it was just you're talking about 2 all-NBA guys. I mean, they just don't do that in the middle of the season. And it's kind of a weird trade for Dallas. Don't think Dallas got the best.
With Anthony Davis, they play different positions. I would rather have Luka. I don't care if he's a little fat. Than Anthony Davis is a really good basketball player too, but I'd rather have Luka.
Well, and Anthony Davis, he's a big guy who, you know, I mean, he's good. Don't get me wrong, but Luka is like the guy. He can dominate and do stuff. Right now. And he's 25 years old. It's just crazy that they traded him. And then it's crazier that they talk shit about him afterwards because he was really well loved in Dallas, and I don't think that's going over well with the fans.
You know, coming from a front office, if you move a guy, you hate him, all you do is you sign the paper and you move on. For a team and an organization, a front office to come out and say he's lazy and fat or whatever they're saying, that's weird.
It is weird. It's just, you know what, you should just trade him and just say they think their general manager says defenses win, you know, championships. Well, maybe, but if you don't have that
Luka,
dude,
he wouldn't have even been in the playoffs.
If you don't have that dude, you're not even coming close. I mean, is
this the Giants equivalent of getting rid of Saquon? I know it wasn't a trade, Saquon left, but is this almost like the same as losing a player like that? And obviously the next year we can see into the future Saquon almost breaking the record.
You know, I think so. So just think you're Luka, and they didn't even tell him, didn't ask him. He didn't ask for a trade, obviously. They trade him, talk shit about him. Don't you think he's going to just like want to just stuff it in their faces? I mean, he's already like a superstar.
Yes.
I mean, I think everybody was stunned by it. Now, the interesting thing is what does that do with LeBron? Because LeBron's kind of like the ball handler guy, and Luka is the ball handler guy now.
That almost makes me, because nothing on a LeBron team goes unsaid to LeBron. He's a part of everything. He's almost like a GM, a vice GM kind of the teams. It would almost make sense to me if LeBron is saying maybe he's realizing he's getting older. His son is not going to be a superstar. I think we know that. Mm-hmm. So maybe Luka, a bona fide superstar now, he can sort of segue out of over the next couple of years and let Luka sort of take the reins.
I mean,
I don't think it would be that bad for LeBron to take like a secondary role where he goes off on the side and maybe not all the way in the corner for threes, but play top of the key, but over to the side and let Luka kind of do something when he wants one-on-ones. He goes away.
Yeah.
I mean, LeBron's like my age. He's like 38, 39.
No, he's 40. He's 40 or 41.
40.
And he's still good.
You got to have an exit plan at 40.
Supposedly he didn't know anything about the trade, which honestly may be true. I would think he's okay with it. I mean, you get a scorer they need a center now, right? They had Anthony Davis in the center, who he didn't want to play center. He's been telling them the whole time, I don't want to be a center. So I think the trade deadline's Thursday. They'll probably pick up a center. Maybe not this year. Maybe it won't show, but you have to assume with Luka on the team. My God, the dude is amazing.
Basketball, you'll see it this year. Basketball is more than any other sport. You put a good player on the court and you win. There's no other sport where you can just say, I have one guy and he's going to win, and they can do it.
Yeah, it's crazy. That was a crazy trade, and actually now I know he's been hurt since Christmas, and I think Anthony Davis is out too. So hopefully those guys get back soon. I'm going to have to peek in on some games once those guys start coming back and kind of see how it's going.
Push I needed. I haven't watched one dribble in NBA this year. It's just, I don't know. Last year I was super into it, more than I've ever been in my life. This year I honestly hasn't even crossed my mind to check out stats or see who's winning. I have no idea what's going on.
I haven't either. And there's been some other trades, names that, some big names got traded too, but that's the for me, that's the big one. I'm not into it enough kind of do the other ones. But the one thing I hate is just, you get old, our buddy Stephen A on ESPN, which, God, I can't stand that dude. He explains why the Mavs had enough of Luka. Come on, dude. Just shut the hell up. I mean,
it's not reporting. It's just clickbait.
It is clickbait.
It's farming.
It's gross, man.
As is 90% of the world around us right now.
I know. I hate when they jump on. If that guy never came out and said anything, he'd have no story. There would be no. And you know what? Bad on that GM for talking shit. And I guess Luka's dad came out and kind of crushed them too. Just kind of said it was bullshit the way they did it. So good for them.
Well, that gives motivation to an all-star player in his prime to make sure if you ever face them, you're going to lose. I mean,
oh my God. He already goes off on a crazy, I did actually, when I was watching it, I liked watching him play because he's kind of fun to watch. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. Yeah. So that was I think that was the big sports news this week. It was in the NBA, but there's a little bit more. Did you have anything else on basketball?
Nope.
So just switching over real quick to the NFL. I don't know if you saw it where of course we have the Super Bowl coming up, but Myles Garrett did actually come out and request a trade from the Browns. I think he's done.
I saw that today.
Yeah. I think he's done hanging and waiting to see what they're going to do. And
I mean, how long can you sit there and wait for the team to turn around? My God, the guy's an incredible athlete.
He is.
He deserves a shot to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and he's not. That ain't happening with the thing. The other big news about the news on the kicker for the Ravens. Yeah, do we have Massager 2 going?
Crazy.
Oh my God. What is up with these dudes? I don't understand it.
It doesn't. And I'm not even talking from just a completely outside perspective. I did have a glimpse into the life and the world, however brief it was. The women are just everywhere. I mean, you can't even take 15 steps without there being somebody that's single available. You know what I mean? It's and you're not going to get beat out as a professional athlete to anybody. The confidence of these guys must be terrible. And they feel like they can't talk to, I don't know, maybe they're cheating on girlfriends and doing it. I can't even think of an excuse when you're at that level, making that money, why you would have to go to the massage place to ask girls to hook up. It's crazy.
I don't understand why they go to them. The teams provide all that. I don't understand it, man. Yes. I really don't understand it.
They have extremely good. Well, they go for that. They're not there for the massage. They're there for the girls.
I know, but it's just, I mean, they have to know they're big name NFL players. And
Deshaun Watson just got caught last year and you're going currently? Holy
Well, fuck. No, I think these are from a few years back. I think they're starting to come out. And then, when it's like, one, you're going to go, okay, two. But now it's just like Watson shit. It's a ton coming out. And evidently he got banned from one of the spas because the girls turned him in. He was saying that's not true. But I don't know but it's the information is just so overwhelming. You almost got to say, "Come on, dude, something happened. Had to happen. There's just no way."
Yeah, yeah. It's so much that you have to say. Well, number one, he's not saying he wasn't there, and
No,
he's not saying that he wasn't getting a massage, right? So, as a team, why are you there getting a massage? We have full-time people on staff that will give you whatever you want.
it's the
So
weirdest
where's the
shit, man.
excuse?
I don't know. These guys put their millions of dollars and their careers on the line for stupid shit. To be honest with you, I don't.
And who
I
was
don't get it.
the owner that also got caught like
Oh,
2
that was
years ago?
Kraft. That was the
Kraft, Watson, and I don't know this. What's this guy's name?
oh god, he's the kicker. Son of a
I
bitch.
forgot his name. Tucker.
Tucker. Yeah, Justin Tucker.
Yeah. Jesus, they can all make a reservation and just get a 3-for-1 job somewhere.
Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. So we had that, and then the Saints, I think, looks like they're going to hire Kellen Moore. I don't think they've finalized it yet. I don't really know what they're waiting on.
Saw that one coming.
Boy, I don't know.
I actually thought Kellen Moore eventually would make his way back to Boise State and maybe be the head coach at some point, but it looks like he's happy in the NFL.
I think he's a good NFL guy. The Saints are, that's a tough one to take. I think he was up for some others. I can't believe he didn't get offered, but.
He was the Statue of Liberty quarterback, right, against Oklahoma? Or was that after him?
Oh, God, I can't remember now. I don't know.
He might have even been after that. That was so long ago.
Yeah. So looks like they're going to hire him, and then they have a long ways to go. And then we got the Super Bowl. So what are your thoughts on the Super Bowl this year?
Well, I mean, everybody's saying that the Eagles can't win because running can't win, right? And they're saying that it's so hard to overcome Mahomes, throwing these little crazy touchdowns where he's manufacturing stuff all over the place. But I think the Eagles have shown time and time again now for however many weeks that you can play really old school football and beat people. And for all these people that are talking shit about Jalen Hurts, like he sucks. The team doesn't need him to do anything, whether you like it or not, whether you think he's a good quarterback or not. He doesn't need to, the team doesn't need him to be a superhero. They need him to make a few passes, kind of back the secondary up and give it to Saquon.
Yeah.
And it's winning. So what's the big deal here? I think the Eagles win it. I think that they can control the clock really well. But I mean, you can't bet against the Chiefs. I would never actually put money on this game. Like Mahomes can just out of nothing, they can score a touchdown.
Yeah, they have great coaching too. I mean,
they have great coaching.
I don't think they're the best team on the field this coming Sunday, but I think they have Mahomes, they have some playmakers, and they have Andy Reid and those guys, which is tough to beat. I mean, in all honesty, the Eagles shouldn't. I've been beating him up all season, but they probably should win. They have a better defense. They have a better line. Obviously, the quarterback he can manage the game and then give it to Saquon. So I'm still, until somebody beats the Chiefs, though.
Yeah,
I'd still have to go. But I'm like you. I would, God forbid. I don't know. You'd have to have some huge balls to bet on this game. Wow, giant.
Yeah, I mean, where you would, if somebody came up to him and was like, "No, this is why they're going to," I'd be like, "You're an idiot. You're an idiot. Get away from me."
Yeah, I'm hoping it's a good game.
Could easily go either way.
Yeah, maybe it'll be actually a good game because a lot of these games suck, to be honest with you. But I think this one will be close. I don't think either team's going to run away from the other.
The Eagles, just by the way they play, almost make every game semi-close if it's a hard one because they run the ball so much. So the clock's kind of chewing away, and they score. So it's. The Chiefs may score in a minute, but the Eagles may take 6.5 and they'll score too.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be good. I was talking to Mrs. Bunk earlier and saying, the only thing I don't like about the Super Bowl is it just in general is how late they put the game on. By the time all the shit happens
on a Monday too.
And it's, everything, it's 10 o'clock at night before it's over.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just never, it doesn't end. They could do the game. They could definitely have it earlier in the day. Oh, that's my gripe. All right. What else you got on football?
Oh, just if we want to poke our toe into college football.
Yeah.
Nick had brought up the Jim Knowles hire to Penn State. And at first, when he told me that, I was like, ooh, I mean, obviously he's such a huge name. But I was like, man, is it really just a 1 year deal? Are we just throwing all the chips in for one season and saying it's national championship or bust? And I think it is.
Oh,
I kind
wow.
of think it is.
Hmm.
I think we have the whole offense is coming back pretty much, and a large part of the defense, not the whole thing. Getting Jim Knowles, I think this is Franklin saying we're either going to win the championship this year, or I might be moving on somewhere. And I think that's very fair. I think he's honestly, from a fan's perspective, paying paying Jim Knowles $3.1 million to be an assistant, which is over $1 million more than any other assistant or close to it. I'm on board with that. If the ship goes down, the ship goes down.
Yeah.
But if Franklin obviously is getting tired of people saying you can't win the game. Well, he got the guy that beat him 8 times in a row. So, this is it. This is it.
So what do you think? What do you think about do you think the quarterback at Penn State is good enough to win a national championship?
I do, but I don't think he's good enough to win it all on his own. I don't think he's that type of quarterback. I think he would make a really good NFL quarterback that can get the ball to playmakers and let them kind of handle the load. My issue with Allard is he's so friggin' inconsistent. If you really watch him play, never mind the stats at the end, he misses so many guys by overthrowing like 4 feet too high, like every single game. If he could just fix that, then maybe, but
he does.
For what he's shown me now, it's not like he's a freshman. He's been doing this for a long time, and this is who he is.
And when he misses, he does overthrow every time. He doesn't underthrow. He definitely overthrows, which is weird.
His deep ball sucks.
Well, it's good that he came back another year. He needs another year before he, I think, is considered. I think he has everything the NFL looks for. I think he just needs to be more consistent. So,
he's going to be probably a top 3 quarterback next year.
I absolutely. And it should be a little bit better class.
Projections of Penn State winning the Natty next year, which nobody ever says that. So that's also kind of concerning. But that's the only thing from college, I think, or football in general. It's been, obviously we're in the off season now, and I think the transfers are settling down, and now we're just getting into the long, deep winter for college football. Yeah.
Well, one note, Chip Kelly left Ohio State. He's going to he did. He's going to be the offensive coordinator for the Las Vegas team, NFL.
Wow.
Yeah, he's going back out there. So he's gone, and now he was good. That dude knows offense, man.
That guy's a offensive mastermind.
He is.
So Ohio State lost both.
Yeah.
I had read a report that Ohio State was actually like $30 million over their budget, unaccounted for.
Unbelievable.
So I think they threw in all their chips to last year, saying, I don't care what it costs. I don't care if we're in debt. I don't care legally what happens. We're going to win this year. And they did.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. He's going out with Pete Carroll out there. So he's gone, and it's going to be a different team.
Wow. That brings me back old memories of the Pac-12.
Yeah, no kidding. Those guys were cool. I like Pete Carroll. I'm happy he's back in.
Yep.
All right, I don't have any other football. Just a little bit of baseball. We're getting close on baseball. I like it, man. So we had the Jack Flaherty re-signed with the Tigers for 2 years, so he went back there, which is a big signing for them. A lot of guys still outstanding, including, let me ask you this. Where do you think Bregman's going to end up?
Ooh. He's pretty good.
He's good. You think he goes back to I know the Astros still are open.
It's hard for me to say he leaves. They love him there, and he's like a homegrown guy.
He is. Tigers are still interested in him. Detroit looking at signing him. I don't know why he's still out there. It's kind of a weird one. Him and Alonso are still out there. Alonso's
maybe he just wants an absurd amount.
It could. I think it might be that. If he was going back to the Astros, I would have thought he would already gone back. To be honest with you, it's been a long time. It's we're getting to be in the spring training now. I'm thinking the Tigers might have a shot at him. I don't know. And they're building up a pretty good team out there.
So long, I would almost say that the Astros have the best shot. He's probably told his agent and made it clear with the front office that I'm searching for X amount of money. The Astros offered him Y amount of money, which is probably less. And then it's taking so long because other teams aren't giving him what he wants. But he knows, like, I would almost say the longer this goes on, he stays with the Astros.
Yeah, I think that's a definite possibility. It's just kind of a weird, it seems like he's been like, one of their best guys. It seems like he said, hey, I need X, and they, give him X and move on. But I don't know. So he's out there. Pete Alonso's still out there, which is, I think his market is, wow. I can't at this point, honestly, don't even know where he would end up. Pick thinks he could go to Toronto and they would move Vlad to third base where he wants to be. But he's still, I don't know where he goes at this point. I don't think he's going back to the Mets. I don't think they're going to pay him what he wants. He should have taken a big deal.
And pay him.
They offered him a big contract before the season. That he,
I'm sure that money's gone now.
Yeah, they're not. They're not. That's over. They're not giving him that kind of money, and especially because there's just no interest anyway. Nobody needs a freaking first baseman for that kind of money. He's not a great fielder. He's a great hitter.
Right. He would need to do like DH, but he only bats like 240.
Yeah, he's your home run guy. So it's gonna be interesting. He's the one I'm kind of keeping an eye on to see where he ends up. And I like him as a player and stuff, but I think he bet on him. So he's one rare instance where they bet on themselves in Major League Baseball, and then he's not coming out well in this one. He probably has to do a short term.
Again, I think that means he would probably stay with the Mets and take whatever they're willing to give him.
He might. I don't know. The Mets have talked some shit about him though, so I'm not sure he would have to swallow a lot of crap and go back there, to be honest with you.
Well, I'll tell you what, in baseball, sometimes nobody wants you. And so you got to tuck your tail in and say, okay, I'm on the team.
And let's be honest, we're talking about lots and lots of millions of dollars. So it's not like he's going to be fine wherever he ends up. It's kind of a personal thing. And he's got the agent too, was it Boris?
Oh, Boris?
Yeah. And I think Bregman might too.
Is he still the big agent in baseball? He's been doing it for like 30 years.
God, can you imagine how much money that dude has? Holy shit.
I honestly can't. He has he used to have, when I was playing, he had everyone, every big guy, every single one of them. And I'm sure it's the same now.
It's the same now. He's got all the guys, and his guys are notoriously go into spring training unsigned.
Yes.
And so I think he had Juan Soto too. So
wow.
Yeah, I don't know.
What do you think about Juan Soto now that the dust has settled? You happy he's with the Mets? You think he's going to perform?
I think he'll perform just like he's always. He's a very good player. I think from a Yankee perspective, they ended up with more good players rather than one Juan Soto, right. Which they needed. They needed pitchers. They got that, and I think they're going to be just fine. I think they made the right move on that one. I think the Mets. I guess that dude on the Mets is he's kind of like the Dodgers. He's got no limit on what he could spend because he's still buying too. But I think from the Yankee standpoint, I think they did the right thing. I think they tried to sign him, and I think they knew they weren't going to sign him at the end of the day.
That amount is like you have a ball and chain for like 20 years on you.
You do, and he's a very good player. He's defensively, he's not very good, but he does hit well.
What if he gets hurt? What if he hurts his knee?
Oh, I know.
That's like a $40 million loss that he's still getting.
He'll be the Bobby Bonilla of the 2020s.
The gamble on that is just wild.
It is. There's an enormous amount of money that I think he's definitely a top player, but he's not going to change. He's not going to get you into a World Series by himself. Baseball is not built that way. And
you can't.
Yeah. And with no pitching, and you're not going to get there. And he's going to do his thing. He's going to bat 300, and he's going to look great. I don't think the Mets go anywhere.
The Mike Trout of the Mets in this.
Yeah, there you go, Mike Trout.
He's going to get his stats, but the team freaking sucks around you.
Yeah,
and you're soaking up 80% of the costs. And this is what the reality is of it.
It's kind of gross, but I'm happy the Yankees didn't do it. Let me put it that way. I don't think there's much else going on in baseball. We got
Yeah, it starts in just a few weeks. I know pitchers and catchers start the report, around now. If they live in the area, they might already be there, or kind of making plans to get there in the next couple weeks. But I believe March 1st is the first day.
Yep. And it's I'd love to. One time we haven't done it. I think it's hard to do. I looked into it once. It'd be kind of fun one time to kind of check the spring training games out. And we're closer to Arizona than we are to Florida.
Yeah, I was going to say I've seen like all of the spring training in Florida. Either I've played on them or I've just seen them as a fan.
Yeah.
I've never seen any of the Arizona ones. That would be kind of interesting to go see.
And I think you can go. I looked at one time. I think you can kind of go and stay in one area, and you can hit, like, you can drive each day to several of them. They're all pretty close together. So that'd be fun to do at some point. I think it'd be a lot of fun. The weather'd be nice, and just kind of hang out for a week or something. Check it out.
Yeah, good spring break trip.
Yep. All right. Damn, what else you got? You got anything else?
Darts wise, I've been kicking ass.
Dart. If you start coming over with a cigarette hanging out of your mouth, we're gonna know you're a pro.
You'll know I'm good. Yeah. Funny enough, the best player that I've met recently, he doesn't go to that place that I told you about because it's too smoky. I think that I found a good pocket of non-smokers around Austin that like to play together. Yeah. But yeah, I've been beating some really good people, and at the weekly one I do, or bi-weekly, every other week that I show up to down in South Austin, I overheard them as I was throwing the darts saying that I'm the best one by far. And these guys have been playing it since the 80s.
That's crazy. That is crazy.
I know. It's I just show you some pictures. They're all 60s, 50s, 40s, and there's another guy in his 30s. He's kind of newer like me, but I mean, they've accepted me and they invite me to everything just because I can play darts better than them. It's been really fun.
That's really neat, though. I like it.
It is really neat. Yeah.
Well, cool. We'll have to next time you're at a tournament, we'll have to come out and get some pictures.
Yeah. Oh my God, that would be so funny to see my mom and dad taking pictures of me at a dart tournament.
Hey, no, we'll talk Doc Odyssey with whoever's there and wants to talk.
Yeah, there you go. That's my darts, and the other sports stuff is I've just been consumed with my daughter's gymnastics. Olivia, it's number one, it's a huge time commitment on everybody's part to get her there. But she's been doing so well, and now I'm a true gymnastics dad. I know what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the toes. Are they pointed? I'm into it.
That's awesome. And we're going to be heading to watch that one this coming weekend too. Another
this
one
weekend,
of her competition.
Yeah, up in Dallas. Yep.
Very nice. Well, the only thing I have, so I did, just as a side note, I changed the brakes on on your sister's cars this weekend. Did that in the old driveway.
You did it yourself? I
did it with the help of your sister and your mother. Good God. Well, your sister was fine.
How did that go?
It was good. It actually worked out really well. We changed the brakes, pads and the rotors, front brake pad and rotors. We did it ourselves in about 2 hours. So not bad.
Look at that. Right in the garage?
We did it right on the driveway. Yeah. Yeah.
How bad were you sweating? It was warm.
It was warm. On the one side the sun was hitting, and the other side it was shady. So it was like half and half. But it didn't take long, and it worked out good. I had to do some pre talking with Big G down in Florida, get the scoop, make sure I was doing stuff right. Hey.
If I have to even put a nail in my wall, I call Greg and be like, Greg, how do I nail this into my wall? We call him for everything.
Between him and YouTube, we got through it and did it.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I've done brakes, so that worked out pretty good.
Oh my! I wouldn't even know where to. I am more illiterate than ever with cars.
Very easy. It turned out to be very easy. So
I'll take your word for it.
Yes. Driving is always
the cooking front. What have you been cooking lately?
We cooked some. We got an Italian cookbook, and we cooked some stuff out of that turned out really good. And it was it was a pasta dish with like frozen peas and stuff in it, and came out really good. The weird thing was it had cream cheese in it, which I hate cream cheese, but you bake it, and the cream cheese actually makes the sauce, and it was actually came out really good. One of the recipes, believe it or not, was a giant Italian sandwich, which sounds weird, but you had to make your own aioli, and that's kind of where, that kind of made it. And so,
oh yeah, yeah,
you made the aioli with what are the little fish guys?
sardines.
Sardines.
Oh, you're making like a Caesar almost.
Yeah, we put it all in the blender and made that, and then we got a huge loaf of bread and put all the Italian stuff on. Actually, we ate on that thing for like 2 days, so it worked out really good.
Yeah. That's the best part about Italian cooking is I make some for, me and Olivia, and I have it for 3 days.
Oh yeah, the other one we did was like leftovers too, so it worked out good. We've been having fun with it. Tonight, I think we're having pizza or something.
Yeah, pizza sounds good. I'm hungry.
All right. Anything else from your end?
No, that's it for me. I know it's a really light week.
It is a light week, and then we'll be on next time we're on. The Super Bowl would have ended, and then I can bust Boomer's ass about his Eagles getting beat. I sure hope.
Oh yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, next week will be a great podcast if you can get Boomer on, or even just make fun of him when he's not on. Would be
we'll have to get him on win or lose, because if they win, he likes to get on and mess with me. So we'll have to plan to have him on win or lose, and kind of see where that goes. Other than that, it is kind of light on the sports front. And Pick, we hope you're out there feeling better. Be back with us next week as we continue the journey here on the Bunk and Pick podcast. Until then, everyone, we're going to roll you out with our famous saying, and then we're going to meet you guys here next week. So, till next week, we'll be rolling.